And we are back. It didn't take me like multiple weeks to get to, but here we are with level 0109 to go talk to Luke. I think we left off investigating the first floor of the restaurant, and now we're on the second. Winnie takes the blood pressure monitor off of Vernon's arm and puts it away. Winnie, there's no need to worry about me. My customers got food poisoning after eating at my restaurant. Hiring a detective won't change this fact. Come, tell me about school. When does the next semester start? While reviewing the measurements history on the blood pressure monitor, Winnie hands stop. She turns towards Vernon's eyes slightly teary. Grandpa Vern, are you trying to hide something? Yes. Hide something? Oh, Winnie, I don't understand what you mean. Your heart rate and blood pressure just now was better than the past few days. Were you pretending to be ill downstairs so you could avoid answering their questions? Winnie, What are you hiding? This incident could very well drive the restaurant out of business. Vernon is stunned for a moment, but then lets out a long sigh. I don't have a choice. Dun, dun, dun. There's blackmail. Of course there's blackmail. It's a long story. Well, we're here to hear it. Luke's preliminary test results show that something isn't adding up with the fingerprints and insecticide powder. No, really. Maybe Luke and Artem are right in suspecting that there is more to this food poisoning incident. What voice did I give him again? It was only a couple days. Each piece of evidence by itself seems incautious. However, putting them all together tells another story. True. For instance, the insecticide that contaminated the spring water probably wasn't the bug-out that Mr. Green bought. Bug-out is an insecticide that isn't toxic to humans. Let me guess. The crystal on the water dispensers are a match with insecticide 330. That's right. After cross-checking online, the toxic chemicals detected in the crystals match those in insecticide 330. I also took the dispenser apart and found a large amount of chemical residue in the filter. This explains why these crystals present. The chemical concentration is alarmingly high. That means any water that went through the dispenser would get contaminated. This also means that it's nearly impossible to spill insecticide into the dispenser by accident, so the act was intentional. In that case, were the customers hospitalized because they consumed contaminated spring water? Let me think. Reviewing all the evidence we have should give us our answer. Okay, new thing. You collected quite a number of clues. However, that doesn't mean much unless you find the connections between them. I suppose that is how that works, yes. Here's the dilemma we need to solve in this analysis. Are the customer's poison symptoms consistent with the poisoning systems of insecticide 330? Choose 2 clues from the following list you believe are connected to solving the current dilemma. Contaminated spring water and customer's medical reports. Apparently, after looking 2 clues, find connection to tap, see if there's indeed a connection. I'm gonna go with there is because you told me to do it. Hey, look! Who would have guessed? We can. According to their medical reports, the patients had abdominal pain and diarrhea, which is consistent with the symptoms of insecticide 330 poisoning. Then we can be sure that this isn't a simple food poisoning case. Exactly. Insecticide 330 is a potent pesticide if it was deliberately used in a restaurant. There's no way this case of food poisoning was caused by negligence. A hazardous chemical was intentionally used. It's a criminal act. I bet Winnie's regretting calling us now. Mr. Green didn't ask his employees to buy insecticide 330, so who bought it and put it into the water? If the culprit was in the restaurant, they must have left fingerprints or some other traces. This is how you find connections between clues. Solve the new dilemma by finding another connection. Well, there are 2 left, so I'm just gonna take a gander. Could be wrong. Oh, here we go. I lifted some fingerprints from both the dispenser surface and its internal filter. 4 of them match info from the smart locks database. The earliest is from 10 years ago. It's likely whoever installed the lock, so Mr. Green himself. There's 2 other fingerprints that were registered 3 years and 1 year ago. According to what Winnie told us about the restaurant, these 2 likely belong to them. A fourth fingerprint was registered 6 years ago, but I have no clue who it belongs to. Maybe a former employee? We can rule out the possibility. There are records of entries deletions, so I'm assuming fingerprints of former employees were removed. But on a certain piece of evidence, I found a fingerprint that matches the fourth fingerprint in the Smart Locks database. Care to hazard a guess? I mean, it's not hard to guess, Luke. The receipt for Insecticide 330? That's right, ding ding ding. This fingerprint also appears near the water dispenser filter. Now we know for sure that someone not employed by the restaurant was recently here. They must be the one who placed insecticide into the water dispenser. Since they can unlock the front door, they must be close to Mr. Green. Someone who's close to him, but also has a conflict of interest with the restaurant. We have to ask Mr. Green for that answer. I don't think he'll talk with that evidence we currently have on hand. You mean Mr. Green is deliberately trying to shield the suspect? Okay, but if this is criminal, then at this point, shouldn't we involve the police, who has records of fingerprints and would be able to get them? That's right. Why do you think that? Did you find some evidence? Usually, cleaning water tanks is done by the supplier after they received an empty tank. However, the tanks of spring water in the restaurant from the day of the incident have been wiped clean, not a drop or print to be found. Additionally, the powder found along the wine cabinet tested to be non-toxic bug-out, but it was also cleaned up. The restaurant likely used bug-out on a regular basis. Could the staff have cleaned it by accident? In a restaurant where food poisoning occurred, the staff normally wouldn't dare to do so without explicit orders. My guess is that Mr. Green cleaned up the evidence after learning the suspect's identity. If that's the case, then Mr. Green must have a long history with our culprit. Why would Vernon want to protect someone who is clearly out to damage the restaurant? You and Luke can't wrap your heads around it. You hear footsteps suddenly coming down from upstairs. It's Winnie. Her eyes are swollen and red from crying. When her eyes meet, Winnie stops in her track. She opens her mouth as if she wants to say something, but before she can speak, Vernon calls out from upstairs. Winnie, have you seen my medicine? Stay where you are, Grandpa Vern. I'll get it for you. Winnie glances at you again before going back upstairs. What's Mr. Green trying to hide? If he's unwell to tell us the truth, then it's up to us to find it ourselves. We should start on the poisoner's identity. They've had access to the restaurant for 6 years, so we'll likely find clues to their identities somewhere here. Right. Also, the suspect has a conflict of interest with the restaurant, so maybe we can find something in the restaurant's operational records. Let's comb through the restaurant one more time. If we can't find anything, we'll have to confront Mr. Green about it. Oh, speaking of a conflict of interest, I just thought of... You and Luke lock eyes, and he immediately knows what you're thinking, as if the two of you are in one mind. You don't mean... deli cart! Okay, so we had a dramatic, oh my gosh, deli cart, and now we're just gonna explore the place? Alright. You and Luke have determined that the suspect is someone closely related to Vernon and has conflict of interest with the restaurant. You suddenly think of Pedro, the man that Winnie had argued with. Vernon had rejected his sales offer several times, which constitutes a conflict of interest. Could this case be related to another one I'm working on? Another case? I'm talking about Pedro, the sales manager for Delicart. Winnie told me about him back at the law firm. Winnie didn't tell you about him? Or is there something more to this? Delicart received investment funds from Pax Capital and is planning to go public. Did you hear about that? Yeah, I did. I also heard that many smaller financial institutes are following suit. Yep, one of them hired me to perform credit and background checks on Delicart. During my investigation, I found that Delicart not only hired a bunch of paid posters to write fake reviews. What? Oh my gosh, really? But they're also suspected of making money through illegal means. What? Delicart's just a food review app. What's their goal? I don't know either, but this case might have given me a lead. There are a lot of competition in the review app market. Although Delicart can remain afloat, its revenues are nowhere high enough to go public. But if an accident occurred at one of their clients' restaurants, Delicart's premium PR services would become useful. You're saying that Delicart intentionally sabotages its clients? I'm sorry, I got that from pretty much the moment we met the guy. Like, review bombing a restaurant to force its owners to purchase deli cart's premium service to save their restaurant's reputation? Yeah, so just counter it with bots, because I think that's what a lot of people do. This is just my hypothesis based on these two cases, and I don't have any hard evidence yet. I didn't think this is what private detectives do nowadays. What else? You think I'd be invading some celebrity's privacy or digging into affairs? Give me a break. You said it, not me. I thought private detectives were all about solving cold cases. Pedro happens to be a deli cart employee, so you might be right. Let's see if we can find some evidence here. Oh boy, investigation time. Although it's not open, the restaurant's still kept clean and tidy. Okay. Potted plant. Can I look at that now? I can! Finally! Mr. Green's pretty amazing. He was the champion of last year's Stellus angling competition. He looks so cheerful in this picture, but now... This incident caused his restaurant to close down. Of course he'd be upset. Also, he's, kinda dying. Speaking of fishing, I remember that you used to love seafood. How about now? Of course I do. Arguably even more now. Seafood's low in fat, so I don't have to worry about gaining weight. Sweetie, you're a stick. I don't think you have to worry about gaining weight anyways. A little fat's good for you. You always feel too skinny to me. No way. I just bought a new dress. What is that conversation? What does that have to do with any of this? Exo, conjugal, tequila, gin, liquors. This must be Mr. Green's collection. Looks like Mr. Green enjoys all kinds of drinks. Okay, apparently I can't look at the temperature or percentage thing. Maybe I can? Okay, I can't. I don't understand. No, I didn't want to click on hint. I wanted to click on the thing behind. Okay. Can I look at the computer now? There we go. Here's the restaurant circuit breaker. I'd better not touch it. There we go. You access the computer on the checkout counter to check the restaurant's account logs. The expenditures look normal. Most of the costs are towards ingredients and Deli Cart's monthly membership fee. Expenditures for supporting underprivileged students are also recorded. Deli Cart's review bombed this place, but Mr. Green still pays their membership fee. He's been a member since March of last year. Huh? Luke, look! Pedro's name's here. You find Pedro's name among the list of underprivileged students that Vernon had supported. Vernon used to send him $300 every month. Pedro was one of the students that Mr. Green had helped? The records show that Vernon had supported Pedro for a long time. Payment stopped in June last year, around the time that Pedro would have graduated from college. Do you see Pedro's bank account number anywhere? Yes, and the last 4 digits match the account number on the Insecticide 330 receipt. In that case, Pedro's extremely suspicious, which is surprising, you know. Of all the 3 people we met related to this case, it wasn't the person who hired us or the person who's being kind of sort of blackmailed. A QR code to sign up for the restaurant's membership. Let me see. Turns out only members can make reservations. Now I can skip the line next time I'm here. Can I look at the book? I can. I haven't seen a handwritten customer feedback book in a long time. Lenny said the restaurant got review bombed on Delicart once Mr. Green turned down Pedro's offer. The positive feedback in this book is proof that Delicart hires ghostwriters to write negative reviews. You can feel the sincerity behind each written comment. This place is truly loved. There's a leaflet tucked between the pages. It's a quote from Delicart on their premium service. There's a handwritten discount offer. Pedro's business card is also attached. Looks like Delicart tried to sell their premium service to Mr. Green. We know this. Can I have the pen? Can I steal it? A point of sales terminal. Seems to be working fine. Okay. Return. Anything over there? All these items can be redeemed with membership points. The glass panes are so clean that someone might actually walk into them. I hope not. That would be dangerous. It's the restaurant's menu. Seafood tofu soup, veggie delight, pan-fried pork chops. Oh, now I'm hungry. I mean, the veggie delight sounded good. An open kitchen. It's visually pleasing for the customers. What else could I need to look at? Inspected, better move on. It's a good day to have a good meal. Being in a restaurant, all I can think of is food. What do I need to do? Give me a hint. What? What? That tiny little book? Are you kidding me? I thought if I clicked on the bookshelf it would tell me. Oh, are you kidding me? Is this photo of Mr. Green's family? While searching the bookshelf, you come across a picture framed amongst the receipts. Recipes, not receipts. Okay. Mr. Green was quite handsome back in the prime, but now he seems a bit haggard. Wow, it's almost like he's old now. I hope this blows over so he can get back on his feet. This must be Mr. Green's wife, Penny. She's beautiful. It's gotta be her. I mean, they look extremely close with each other. Her smile's so gentle. She must have been a kind-hearted person. It's such a pity. Okay, and that little boy. Is that Mr. Green's son? When Winnie hired me, she told me about Mr. Green's current situation. She didn't mention he had a son. She only been in Stillis for a month. It's understandable that she doesn't know everything about his family. I feel like the boy in the photo seems familiar. Like maybe he's Pedro? Familiar? Can you have met him recently? I really can't remember. You remove the photo to see if there's a date on the back, but you find another photo wedged behind the photo frame. It's Pedro! The photo's dated March 2028. It was taken 2 years ago. Why would Pedro's photo be Mr. Green's family photo? Do we really have to ask that? Judging by Mr. Green's age, his son should be much older than Pedro. We'll have to ask Mr. Green about it then. Is he like grandfather? Okay, there's one more. Don't think there's anything here. I don't know if there's anything here. Is there something here? The stupid camera they wouldn't let me look at before. Luke notices a CCTV camera high in a corner near the entrance. It looks like this camera's damaged. I'll get it down so we can inspect it. The camera's higher up near the ceiling. Luke stacks 2 chairs on top of each other because that's safe. However, they appear shaky and unsafe. I'll steady the chairs for you. Be careful. Oh, don't worry. I'll be down in a flash. When I fall. Luke's movements are nimble. He swiftly detaches the camera from its wall mount. Only once Luke's feet are back on the floor do you relax. Your neck is sore from looking up. Okay, the lens is shattered. The camera's not easily accessible location. How did this happen? Someone threw something. Judging from the cracks, it was hit by a blunt force. It's possible that the culprit tried to break it after discovering it. It's so dark, I can't tell anything about this. The camera must have been hit by a hard object. The memory cards are damaged, so I can't eject it. But after some simple repairs, we should be able to remove the memory card. Is there like a USB jack there? Can't tell. Alright, I boosted my my brightness so I can see now. Not that that's helped. Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi receiver's broken too. There's no online capability. It wouldn't have helped us anyway. Surveillance footage is usually kept on the cloud for only 14 days. Any videos from the accident are probably gone by now. After going through the scene again, you now have a clearer picture of the person responsible for a food poisoning incident. Now Mr. Delicart, or rather Pedro, tried to market premium service to Mr. Green. However, we can't implicit him with only a receipt. He could argue that he dropped it in the restaurant after the incident. What if the surveillance camera caught him in here before the incident occurred? It'd be hard for him to argue his way out of that. But the camera... Oh, I had a look. I can be easily fixed, and I have all the tools I need right here. Why do you have these skills? That's amazing. Wouldn't expect anything less from my Sherlock. Sit back and watch the magic happen. Luke pulls out all sorts of gadgets from his pockets, but before he can start, Vernon comes downstairs with Winnie's assistance. You can save your efforts. I broke the camera myself. Vernon was the one who did it? Yes, because he was covering for someone. We've already established this. Mr. Green, you and Luke are both surprised by Vernon's sudden confession that he was the one who broke the CCTV. Mr. Green, you knew from the start that the food poisoning incident was deliberately caused by someone, didn't you? And that someone is none other than Pedro. And looking at how long the recording is, I realized I should probably end it there. So, here's a cliffhanger for you guys. Bye! Thank you for watching, and, yeah. I don't know what to say to these things. I'm gonna end it there. Bye-bye.